Hello and welcome back. My time here at the Streeper Kennel slowly comes to an end, so it was the right point to do a little reflection, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the struggles that I had here in the beginning as a dog handler. I also will give you an update on all the other topics that didn't make it into the other videos, so you're going to see northern lights, you're going to see the puppies from the pregnant dog, so let's start. When I started here, it was very difficult. I mean, I'm completely new to this whole field. Usually I work in HR and work in an office and have nothing to do with all these things here. And it was my first job here in Canada, and I struggled a lot in the first days. When I arrived, there were two girls who did the dog handler job before us, and they handed over all the information they got, and it was pretty detailed, which was good, but it was also like, okay, I need to memorize everything. So I wrote it down in my little notebook. I tried really hard to make no mistakes and learn everything from the beginning. One of the most difficult tasks in the beginning was the training, because we usually go in front with the skidoo. Usually you need to turn all the time to see if the dogs are still behind you, but you shouldn't be too close to them, otherwise they will run into the skidoo, and you get signals from the dog musher, so if you want to go left or right, but sometimes they're like very narrow corners and you don't really see it, or just in last minute. The dogs are pretty fast, so you go with like 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, and the skidoo is not a smooth ride, it's more like a bumpy, shaky thing that more reminds me of a rodeo ride. I had to memorize all the ways. The network is kind of huge here, and sometimes it's different to tell if it belongs to the normal tracks here or if it's just a skidoo trail from someone who has go cross country. So in the beginning I had no clue where the junctions are, which ways are possible. How, for instance, a loop, is it like clockwise or anti-clockwise? I didn't know anything. So I had many issues with the skidoo and finding the way. The names they use for the junctions here are pretty, they could also call them fantasy names, because something is called the cat's corner. It has nothing to do with cats. The other thing is the beer can corner. There you have beer cans in the trees, but when you're driving with like 40 kilometers per hour, it's super difficult to see these tiny cans up in the trees. It's better now, and I'm pretty happy that I now have it all in my mind, but in the beginning I fucked up so many times, and I think by now I'm more good than harm, hopefully. I had major issues with the language. I thought my English is pretty okay, but when it comes to all the tools or the words that they use here, I was like, okay, I don't understand that much. It was more that like 80%.
That thing is called a drift buster. We use it to clear the snow from the trails. This is called a toboggan. I'm from Munich. When I think of toboggan, I think of that. Next to the toboggan is the straw packer. We use it to compress the snow. That's a scraper, that's a woodpecker. I thought of something else when I heard of woodpecker. But it's also used to compress snow, as well as this with a box on, and we have 2 more of the scrapers to take care of the yard.
One example for the English issues was like I should get a chicken pail. And it was like, okay, I don't know the word pail, and usually it comes with a context, but in this case there was no other context, just get the chicken pail. It was like, okay, what's the pail? I mean, pale is what I am in the wintertime usually, so really white. But then I thought maybe it's a weird way of saying pile, but I never saw a pile of chickens or something like that. And what they mean as a pail, or what a pail is actually, it's a bucket. But I just had bucket in my head as the word for this thing. So they sometimes use words I never heard before, and for me it's difficult. And sometimes they use other words than I learned in school, because in Germany we learn the British English, and here I think they mostly use more American English words. So makes it kind of difficult and tricky, and there are often situations where I think like, okay, no, the context is giving me no hints what it is, so hopefully I can look it up in my dictionary.
But enough from my struggles. I also want to give you an update on what happened in the past week. The racing team arrived, and with this also 45 new dogs came to the kennel. So it's pretty full now, and we open up a 3rd area. We also had a major snowstorm the other day, which brought like 30 centimeters of new snow. And I saw a moose on the trail. It's barely visible, but it was there. And of course the puppy news. Gabby got her babies. It's 3 puppies, and she's a loving, caring mother. Last but not least, I promised you the northern lights, and usually they look like that, so not super spectacular, and it's barely visible, it's just a greenish cloud, but the other day it was kind of active, and I had my tripod and my camera out, so I can show you this footage here.
So this time I'm gonna leave you with these calm northern lights. See you next time. Bye bye.